Well, I'm just going to take you on a tour of the underground olive pressing room. This is the only entrance, and animals like horses, mules or asses would have to go up and down these stairs. Here we are, come down the stairs. I'm looking at a large olive pressing stone which would have been actually on its side. It's now flat, and on top is what's he called a fischietto, I think, which is basically a basket, and I'll explain its use in a minute. On this side the room apparently is Roman. It was much smaller at Roman times, and then this part here was added on in medieval times, but at some stage there was damage from an earthquake, so the structure of the ceilings have had to be improved. But you can see, like, this is like carved out of rock. Now they would have 3 horses working, or mules or asses working here, and that's the stable where they slept. 1 would be working, 2 would be resting and eating, and then they never basically left here. And so when they were past use, they were killed and taken away. This is a room where olives would be poured into there. They'd be stored in here, but because of the weight of the oil and obviously dropping it down, a certain amount of oil would leak out, and they would collect this oil in this hole here, this basin, natural carved basin in the ground, and the oil would be collected in there. There'd be water, but they would scoop the oil off the top, so they would try and collect as much oil as possible. Looking back out of this olive store, and you've got the circular stone in the middle, and you can see the route that the animals, horses or whatever, would pull them around. Been here a stone where a press would have been. Here a place to have a fire. You presumably have a chimney which goes up there. They would cook maybe, and also help to keep the place warm, because if the temperature drops below about 8 degrees, then the oil becomes a bit too gelatinous. You can see that in olive oil in a bottle, it goes gelatinous if it's too cold, and it's not, you can't really press it and it doesn't run. We're looking at the Roman part now, and this hole here is the Roman place for collecting the oil. And if you look at the bottom, you can see there's one of those baskets, fischietto, at the bottom. So the olives would be put in the basket, and then the press would come down, squash the basket, and the oil and water mixture would run out. So it's basically acting as a filter, and then you obviously tip out the waste. After a period of a certain amount of hours or so, the oil and the water would separate, and you basically scoop out the oil from the top, and somewhere he had a flat scoop. Can't see where he put it actually. These are another lot of, I think he said these are medieval, but these are more places to collect the olive oil, and there would be a press there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 presses and 8 holes to collect the oil. This is a place where in Roman times people might have slept. So Columella wrote about this area in terms of olive oil production, and so that was probably from that time, and there would have been probably slaves at work in here. Then there was a period of probably disuse. Maybe some of the olive growers fell into lack of maintenance, lack of care, but it was probably later in the Middle Ages that the olive oil production restarted, and you had this enlargement of this underground place which was used right up until the end of the 19th century. So it saw perhaps over 2,000 years use to make oil in here. there may have been gaps. Now this is the olive pressing room, Fantoio, built by Corrado's great-grandfather. Scales, presumably weighing the oil, maybe to collect the oil. More of these round stones where there have been olive presses. But then here, a large olive press with 3 rotating stones which would have been pulled by a horse.